Vibrant spices, crackling wood-burning ovens, and boutique South African wines. Which restaurant could this be? Find out today on Walt Disney World Adults Only. Welcome your Highnesses, I'm Dan and you're watching Walt Disney World Adults Only. Today we're going to be talking about a very popular signature dining restaurant at Walt Disney World, Jiko, the cooking place. Jiko is located at Animal Kingdom Lodge at Jambo House and is currently closed due to COVID. But we are telling you about it today so that you are totally ready for when this restaurant reopens. This is a sheer culinary delight, and if you have a slightly more adventurous palate and enjoy gourmet cuisine, then you need to watch, listen and learn, and then add this one to your list. In this video, I'll give you all the basic information you need about this restaurant, as well as giving you my experience of dining here myself. Jackie has also dined here and she'll be joining us later to give us her experience at this restaurant, as well as Taylor, who hasn't dined here yet but really would like to. Before we get started, please click subscribe and click the bell too. I'd really appreciate that. And then tell me in the comments below, have you dined at Jiko the cooking place before? How was your experience there? And if you haven't dined, is this a restaurant that you know about and would like to dine at in the future? Jiko the cooking place is the only signature fine dining restaurant that you'll find at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. It is, however, one of 3 totally awesome table service restaurants that you will find at the lodge. We've already made a video about one of the other awesome restaurants at this resort, Sanaa. I'll put a link to that video in the description below, and hopefully a link should appear here as well. This is a video that you need to watch. You won't be disappointed. Anyway, staying with Jiko, this is a pure fusion of African, Indian and Mediterranean flavours and spices. Great quality produce, tantalising flavour combinations, which result in a literal celebration inside your mouth. This place is not for the picky eater really, and as a slightly picky eater myself, I can see how some people might struggle with the menu options here. Jiko, the cooking place, is located on the lower level at Animal Kingdom Lodge's Jambo House. It's just opposite Boma Flavours of Africa. And Jiko is a bit of a romantic restaurant too. It is very open, modern and airy, with stylised birds soaring overhead. The dining room surrounds an open kitchen, which includes twin wood-burning stoves. And the lighting on the back wall ever so subtly changes throughout the evening to mimic the stunning colours, warm reds, oranges and golds of the African sunset. The columns in the restaurant are adorned with giant rings, which symbolise the neck rings worn by women in many African tribes. These represent beauty and wealth. All of these things taken together equal something very, very special: ambiance. If you want a little romantic dinner, a truly beautiful restaurant, wonderful food, and an opportunity to go outside and view the animals on the savannah afterwards, then this is the place. I am excited for you. This restaurant also has a private dining room, the Cape Town Wine Room, and this room seats up to 40 guests and showcases a collection of wine-based sculptures too. Surprisingly, and I think due to location, this restaurant doesn't get super booked up very far in advance. In fact, you can often get a reservation here on the day. And a really interesting fact about this restaurant, Jiko has the most expansive South African wine list in the whole of the USA. So if you're a wine connoisseur, you might be in for a real treat at this place. Jiko only opens for dinner, and if you're using the Disney dining plan when they're being offered, this restaurant will cost you 2 table service credits per person. Another really great thing about this restaurant is that the menu changes often. The most recent menu included appetizers such as a grilled wild boar tenderloin, a mushroom flatbread, a curried cauliflower bisque, and the tour of Africa. And that's just for starters. Appetizers here cost between $14 and $19. Entrees here you will typically find a Moroccan lamb shank, an oak grilled filet mignon, peri peri chicken, a sustainable fish, a seafood curry, and a Botswana style beef short rib. Main courses range between $30 and $60, and you can add enhancements too. Mac and cheese, lobster tail, and a curry coconut shrimp. Dessert options include the African milk tart, a brie brownie, a malva pudding, an angel food cake, and what I had on my visit, the African drumbeat. I'll tell you all about that a little bit later, but desserts are around $12. Beers, wines and cocktails are available here too, and as I already said a little bit earlier on, you will find the most extensive South African wine list in the whole of America. The last thing to tell you is that this place has a dress code. It isn't super strict or super formal, but please make a bit of an effort and definitely don't turn up looking like you've just got off of a bus from a theme park. Any questions so far? If you have, ask them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them. Now before Jackie and I tell you about our experiences of dining here, let's hear from Taylor and find out where this restaurant is on her list of places to dine at. Come on in, Taylor.
Thanks, Dan. Jiko is actually a new addition to my list of restaurants I want to try and was added after my 2019 Disney trip when I tried 7 new restaurants to me, including Sedna and Tiffin's. I loved them so much, I knew I had to add the other African-inspired restaurants in Disney to my Walt Disney World restaurant bucket list. Plus, I have heard some pretty tremendous things about Jiko. Not only am I interested just to visit for dinner, but looking at Disney's website, the safari and dinner and the wine tasting look right up my alley, being an animal and a wine lover. Looking at the menu, there are several appetizers I would like to try, including the mushroom flatbread, the curried cauliflower bisque, and the tour of Africa. For an entree, I'd probably go with the seafood curry or the filet mignon, and I would want to try the milk tart for dessert. I really hope that this restaurant is available on one of my future trips because studying the menu for this video has moved it even higher up my bucket list. It looks so good. Now, I know Jackie definitely recommends this place. Tell us about your experience there, Jackie.
Oh yes, Taylor, this is a must for anyone who wants a fine dining experience. They have a rainbow of flavors from India, Africa, and the Mediterranean. I dined here back in 2016. It came highly recommended by friends and Disney food blogs at that time. I chose Jiko because I was on the dining plan and it was a great use of 2 table service credits for some wonderful food. The ambiance was upscale but relaxed. It has a similar dress code to that of California Grill. You don't need to dress in your Sunday best, but you better not look like you're coming straight from the pool. This is one restaurant that makes you forget that you're dining at Disney World. The decor was warm and inviting. It had hues of yellow and dark blue. They have a really cool ceiling feature that makes it look like there's a flock of birds flying overhead. Even though Jiko is at Animal Kingdom Lodge, there's no need to grab a window seat as you can't see any of the animals. If your party is small, try to ask to sit at the chef's prep area by the 2 big ovens. It's a great way to interact with the chefs as they carefully prepare each plate. As a solo traveler, I found this nice as I didn't have to sit alone by myself and is able to interact with someone else. It was entertaining to see all the care they put into arranging each dish before it went out. The service was top notch, and my waiter was really good at making suggestions that would fit my taste. I started my meal at Jiko with an African red wine. It came highly recommended by my waiter. They brought out warm, fresh, homemade rolls with a side of butter that had a hint of cinnamon. They were delicious, and I had to be careful not to fill up on them. For my entree, I chose the oak grilled filet mignon. It came with a side of macaroni and cheese, marinated tomatoes, mushrooms, and a South African wine sauce. It was delicious. It was cooked perfectly. I highly recommend you get this. On my server's recommendation, I got the dessert called the Kilimanjaro. Currently, I'm not seeing it on the menu, but I hope they bring it back. It's a Tanzanian chocolate mousse that's set atop a pistachio cookie and topped with light peppercorn meringue. Surrounding the dessert was a cacao nib crunch and cut pineapple. I was on the dining plan for this meal, so I didn't pay too much attention to the price. But looking at the menu now, it doesn't look like you're gonna get out of there for under $80 a person. It's a little steep, but it is definitely worth it for the food and the quality of service. So that was my experience, Dan. I know you ate here on your last trip. Would you dine here again?
Thank you, ladies. Very well considered thoughts as always. Taylor, I think you're really gonna love it here. So, my experience. I'll start by telling you that I went here with such high expectations. Literally everybody was telling me how amazing this restaurant was, and I read some really glowing reviews. I was going to be staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge for my trip, and it was the absolute ideal time to experience Jiko. Reservations were made in my usual style, literally 180 days in advance, and I got my reservation for the 26th of September 2019. I was already a huge boba lover, so I was really excited to be going signature level for some of these exciting flavours and spices. When we arrived, we went to the podium slightly early to check in, where we encountered one of the most ignorant cast members ever. A white lady in her late 50s with a downturned smile and a disinterested demeanour, who just would not make eye contact with us at all. She wasn't busy, but she was making herself look busy, too busy to be interested in us. We'd all dressed up and made a bit of an effort after a day at the Magic Kingdom and then a few hours by the Port Animal Kingdom Lodge. And when we arrived, we were greeted by this lady. First impressions count, and we were really excited for our first dining experience at Jiko, and that first impression still sits with me today. Now, our table was really nice. It was huge and it was right by the window, and from the table you could look outside and see the brook and all the green trees. It was really quite a stunning view. In fact, the table couldn't have been better. Thank goodness for small mercies. Our server then arrived, and he was literally incredible throughout the whole dining experience. Our server gave us recommendations off of the menu and brought us some freshly baked bread which came with some dipping oil. I chose the North African scallops to start. They were succulent, flavourful, delicious and cooked just perfectly. They were served with a herb shamula and a curried feta crumble. It was honestly delicious. For my main course, I had the oak grilled filet mignon, which was served with olive oil potatoes, vegetables and a South African red wine sauce. It was a very nice piece of beef, but nothing amazing or particularly special. And I ordered a Storm Pinot Noir, which complemented the beef really well. Then on to dessert, and I have to say that the selection of desserts here is probably the worst thing about this restaurant. In hindsight, I wish I had gone for the African milk tart, but instead I chose to be adventurous and to be clever. Now, I really like beetroot, and seeing beetroot on a dessert menu kind of enticed me and lured me into a bit of a false sense of security. Ultimately, it was a huge error of judgment. So I had the African drum beats that I mentioned earlier. It was basically cold slices of beetroot with a small beetroot and chocolate mousse cake, along with strawberries and balsamic vinegar. It was an epic fail. I want to say give it a try, but I can't do that to you. It was honestly quite minging. We were on the deluxe Disney dining plan, and so this all cost 2 table service credits plus the gratuity. If paying out of pocket, this would have cost around $100, so using 2 table service credits was quite good value. If however you're not on the deluxe Disney dining plan and on the normal dining plan, it probably isn't such a great deal as you don't get the appetizer included as well. As we left, after leaving a really decent tip, not one person bothered to say goodbye, thank you, or to ask how our experience was. Other than our server, the staff here were really quite rude, and that is really unusual for a Disney signature restaurant. Unique, in fact. Would I return? Yes, but I'm not really chomping at the bit to get back there either. It was really good food, except for the beetroot, and I would like to eat here again, but it's not really on my list for my next trip. So that is my experience, and I would 100% recommend dining here. The food is really good, but not amazing as I was sold. So there we are. Have we convinced you to dine at Jiko? Please tell us in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please give us the thumbs up and share it with your friends.
Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our content, and click that bell so you get notified when we release new videos.
Join us at Walt Disney World Adults Only Facebook group so we can continue this conversation and have many more.
And as always, never grow up.